Hi guys, and welcome back to Mosquito Net Chats.
With Andy and Maria Cristina. Today's episode 7 to celebrate 7 months in country. Today is our 7-month anniversary in
Is
Cambodia.
it? Oh my
Yes,
god!
today.
It
Today.
literally is, like literally
Yeah,
today. Oh my
yeah.
god!
What time is it? What time? What time is it?
It's disclaimer time.
Oh,
Woo,
disclaimer
woo, woo,
time.
woo.
What?
I'm a TikTok star.
Disclaimer time. Okay, the views expressed in this video today, as always, are the views of myself, Maria Cristina, and our special guest of the day. The views expressed in this video are not the views of the Cambodian government, the United States government, or the Peace Corps. Yeah.
Happy
Happy
Valentine's
Valentine's Day!
Day.
Oh, I love you. Be my Valentine, Maria.
No.
Okay. So I think that we should figure out how one of our married friends is doing celebrating Valentine's Day in Cambodia. What do you
Oh
think?
yeah, we should call somebody. But
We should
who?
call somebody. Who should we call? I
Who
know.
is?
I know just the person. Boop, 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 boop.
Ring ring ring
Ring, ring, ring,
ring.
ring.
Hello.
Oh, hey Yasmin. Happy
Hi.
Valentine's
Oh
Day.
my god, is it really?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh, that's
tomorrow.
awkward. I'm married. Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's,
Valentine's
Day.
Day.
So, Yasmin, can you just start by introducing yourself?
Yeah, my name's Yasmin. I am a current K-13 volunteer in Kampong Chnang. I teach in the primary sector. I teach grades 4, 5, and 6.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah, and I'm serving
Perfect.
as a couple with my husband.
So also today is a special day, Yasmin. I don't know if you know what today is. The 7 months. Yeah,
Oh my
today.
god,
today.
you're right.
7 months ago. 7
That's
months
what
ago
I
today we
said.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Today,
Isn't that
like
wild?
that's on this day.
Yeah, that means 4 more months it'll be a year.
Oh my god.
That's
Cancel
not
Mosquito
that
Net
much.
Chats. Special Valentine's Day episode. So it's a special Valentine's Day episode. And since Maria and I don't have Valentines, I asked Maria to be my Valentine and she said no. Awkward.
Maria.
You brought your Valentine to country with you.
I did.
I think we wanted to talk to you today about like what it's like, because it's an experience that Maria and I don't have, of serving in Peace Corps as a married couple.
How was your application process, Yasmin?
I would say it's, well, I don't know what yours was like, but I think the only difference between ours is that we have an extra interview. So I know for some countries, if one spouse chooses a certain position, the other spouse has to choose a certain position as well. It's different from that one. They can't both do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
But in Cambodia, you can. Like we're both in the education sector. The other biggest thing that I can think of at the top of my head is that we had that extra interview. So we had individual interviews first, and like they're both scheduled at
like the same interview that we do, like, but you did it separate. You didn't do that together.
Yeah,
so you had an
first,
interview.
Yeah. So first, I had my interview scheduled with the same interview, the same person who was talking to us. I had my interview with him first, and then Abdul had his interview with him like the next week or something. And then after that, I don't know if they're required to do a couples interview if they're not interested in you, if they are interested in you. But either way, we got an email saying, okay, like now let's schedule the couples interview.
Was that with the same? Did Harold interview you for both, or was it with a different person?
Yeah, Harold. Yeah, it was the same person. Yeah.
Do you ever wonder what's happening? Like, I hope Harold's watching this. Hi, Harold.
He is. Hi. He was such a great interview.
Do you remember us, Harold?
Interviewer.
I don't remember. Is that who interviewed us? Was that the guy that interviewed us?
Yeah, Harold.
Maria forgot. How are you gonna forget our guy Harold?
It's been over a year.
No, I was so scared because I remember like before I was like looking at like Reddit, of course, and And like everybody was saying like, oh yeah, their interviewers are very like standoffish and they're so cold and stuff. And then we have Harold, and he's like the nicest, like most outgoing guy ever. And I'm like,
I was like, Harold, can you come to Cambodia with us and hang out with us? I want to be friends with Harold.
Me too.
Yeah, it was. I feel like it was a really calm like interview. It wasn't super
Yeah.
stressful. It was just like a conversation. It was really like, I was really nervous for it because I remember I was in Peru and like my Skype wasn't working, and then like I had to call, but like I had to do a long distance call on my regular phone. So my dad got charged like I don't know how much money on the bill because I just said I was just like, I'm just gonna call from my phone. Like I have nothing to do. What I have to do right now. So I just called from my, like, I turned my data on and I called and used my American like phone number. It was really expensive.
I would say the couples interview was probably less nerve-wracking than the individual one.
The individual one, yeah.
Yeah.
That makes
sense.
sense.
But it definitely did feel like they were like invading our space a little bit, because like it was very like, yeah, so do you live together now? How long do you live together? Like what's it like living together? And I'm like, oh wow.
So like most of Cambodian families.
Yeah, just a good practice for living in Cambodia then.
Yeah, he was basically my auntie from Gaza. Like, do you have kids yet? Are you going to?
Are you
going to? Why don't you? Yeah, okay, let's talk about staging. What was staging like for you guys as a married couple?
I mean, I'm gonna be completely honest. Like, staging wasn't the best time. I think just because like that, like I feel like that's like the most like nerve-wracking part. It's like when we're all strangers to each other, and like it's like all like happening. It's all like real.
Yeah.
But I guess like the one thing that was nice about coming with like being a couple is that like, you know, at least like we had like, we knew, obviously like we had each other, like, okay, I don't know all these people, but like I know him. But I also recall that time was also probably the most tense time in our relationship, like throughout like the process and like coming here and everything. I think that's because like we were both processing in our own ways that this is actually happening. We're leaving family. So yeah, I'm gonna be honest, like that was like a difficult time for us, and like we had to navigate that together.
At staging, like that first night, we like had to like choose tables to sit at, and you guys were like the first people I talked to. Like you were like
two of the first
people that I met.
Yeah. You're right. I like loved being around you because I was like so like stressed and obviously had all these emotions, and I'm sure you did too, but you were just like like so happy and like laughing and making everybody smile. Like, I'm like, I need to be around him like this whole time.
We had to take our really long flight, and I think that we should talk about that Peace Corps, what happened on the flight.
We had our seats separate. So I mean it wasn't a huge deal because, like, yeah, like, we have each other. It's fine. Like, we're both in the same plane. It's not a big deal. Like, we're not children. But at the same time, like I said, I was, like, not in a good place. Like, it was pretty rough. Like, he seemed, like, fine, like, from what I can remember. But I was not okay. Like, I needed someone that I knew, like, next to me. And I'm sure plenty of people felt like that as well. So, again, like, I'm not complaining about it.
Did nobody switch with you?
No, yeah, we ended up getting switched. Andy, weren't you?
So I was going to switch, but then I was going to switch so that Abdul could take my seat, but then Michael switched, so you were sitting next to me, right next to me, but then Michael switched with you. So I went from having, like, Yasmin next to me, who's tiny, right? Yasmin, you probably weigh 100 pounds, right?
120.
And so I was like, this is perfect because, like, I had, like, all this extra room. It was awesome. And then Michael switched with you. And then Michael's gigantic.
Tall.
Michael's tall, yeah.
So I went to sleep, and then I woke up with Michael, like, spooning me, like, the whole time. I'm glad that you got to sit next to Abdul because...
I'm glad too, but I want to clarify to like everyone who was on that plane, like it really wasn't a big deal. Like we all felt the way I was feeling or something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say too.
It was a weird
the
flight.
Same way. It's such a long flight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember like at one point I couldn't sleep and like everybody else was passed out and I was like I just can't sleep. Yeah. I'm gonna jump off this plane. Like I need to get off this plane. We still had like 9 hours to go. I was like I'm not gonna make it. I'm not.
I slept the whole time.
I didn't. I slept like 3 hours.
I slept the whole time too.
It was so good.
I slept like 3 hours.
Sorry.
I was like, So we were all in the same training site. Whoop, site B. we're all living with host families just to like set up the scene, and we all had training every day, language training, technical training, cultural training, and blah blah blah. So how was training for you as a couple, Yasmin?
It was definitely easier because every time something frustrating happened during PST, which was like almost every other day, I could come home and just like pour everything out, like be like, Abdul, like this, like just having someone to listen. I think meant everything for me. Like, of course, like Abdul didn't have the solutions. He couldn't like do things for me, fix things for me, but like just having someone there to listen was everything I needed. So yeah, like again, like in many ways, like I recognize that there's a lot of privilege that comes from serving as a couple, and like that's why when other people and other volunteers like tell me things that they're going on, I like always try to think of it from like their perspective, because I can't say like, oh, just do this, oh, just do that, because it's not the same. But yeah, it was definitely a lot easier because he was there with me. What was it like for you guys? Like, I guess coming home and it just being you and your host family.
Yeah, and so at first for me it was really hard, because you go home and we ate dinner, and I couldn't say, like, we couldn't communicate, right? And so then I would go to my room early, like 6:30, and I really relied on other volunteers and like talking to other volunteers, like through WhatsApp, through like Facebook, like, and it definitely at first, like, yeah, at first it was really hard for me, but it got better. Like as I got closer with my host family, like it got better. Like,
and we learned the language.
Yeah, we learned language, and like I had other volunteers right next door to me, right? Like you guys were really, your house was really far away.
Yeah,
like,
you were really
far away. Like I was like right next to the school. I was with a lot of like other volunteers really close to me, and so. Yeah, for me,
we'd like hang out after training too, because like we were close enough to like where we could like hang out and then still get home.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Like early enough.
Yeah.
I think that helped too, like not being alone.
Yeah, and so we just found a different support system. Yeah, like you brought Abdul with you. Like we didn't have Abdul, right? So we had to find our own. Yeah.
But I mean, sometimes Abdul was there. We played basketball after
school. Sometimes. I'm kidding.
Yeah. We ball up. Abdul taught me how to shoot.
I'll tell him that. He'll probably be really happy to hear that.
I want to ask about language learning, because I've definitely read a lot about some countries, I think, make the married couples be separate. Like they don't get to train together because they're worried about they won't integrate or they won't learn the language because they can default to English and speaking English. You guys live together. Can you talk about what that language learning was like? Learning Khmer and having Abdul to speak English with?
Yeah, I found it also interesting because that was one of my biggest concerns when I was coming here. Even on my interview, when he asked me what my concerns were, I was like, oh, like I'm concerned about us coming as a couple and like our language skills lacking because we'd only have each other to speak English or we'd always have each other to speak English with. And I'm kind of surprised that like that wasn't the case. Like the reasons for like when my language is or when I'm not improving my language or I'm slacking off, it's usually because I'm really busy and I can't meet with my tutor, or just because I'm like, yeah, pretty much that. Just like whenever I practice less, I'm not improving as much. But I noticed that like coming home and like, well, here's the thing with Abdul and I'm sure I hope other couples would do this as well. But when we're with our host family, they only speak Khmer, right? I mean, the daughter speaks English, but everybody else speaks Khmer. So whenever we're with them, we only speak Khmer. Like we never use English in front of them. I think number one, that's rude, and number two, that would probably be a reason why your language is slack, because you're not practicing with your family. So the only time you really use English with each other is when we come home and we're like by ourselves, you know. So I think maybe that's one reason why I haven't felt that phenomenon as much as everybody was saying, like, you know, on Reddit and everywhere else. So really, like, as long as you're showing up, as long as you're trying, as long as you're going to your tutoring sessions, your language is going to get better. I don't think speaking English, like with somebody, calling somebody on the phone, talking for a few hours is going to harm, even if that's every day, you know?
Yeah.
How is it like living with the host family, since you guys obviously live together, but with the host family? So how has that been?
So we live with our host family. We have a mother, father, and they have 2 daughters. The older daughter who's in 12th grade knows she can speak English and have conversations in English. The one who's in 7th grade, I believe, not so much, or she might just be a little shy. We have is our own bedroom. Um, and then we have lots of privacy, I think, especially because we don't have kids in the house. But one thing that was difficult for us, and I was having a really hard time, is I felt like we had too much privacy. And I'm not sure if that's because our family, just values that more, or because we're a couple and it was kind of like, we have to like leave them be. Oh, they have each other, they're fine, kind of thing. But it really got to me, like, where I was like, I feel like if I don't reach out, I don't, like I'm especially like living in, like, I live with my family pretty much my whole life. I'm still like the same. And I have lots of siblings, and I'm just used to somebody always bothering me. My mom always being on my business, like somebody always asking me, telling me what to do, why I'm doing this, why I'm doing that, why are you wearing that. I just felt very like alone. It was kind of just like it was just like me and him. We'd come home, like have conversation with the family, and then go to the room, and then go out, go back to the room, go out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it just kind of felt like we were very like left to ourselves because we're a couple. I'm assuming, but this does not speak to like our family. Like, not like our family loves us so much. They care about us so much. Like when we talk, we have the best conversations with them. They're amazing people. Like, we're so lucky to have them. But definitely like noticing that like difference in us kind of like having just a lot of privacy.
Do you have any advice for future couples that are applying for Peace Corps, or
I would definitely say, in short, communication is key, but like Abdul and I have learned a lot about each other and ourselves in this process. And so we've had conversations about, like, I had to tell Abdul, like, listen, like, now I'm going through these things that we're in this, we're in a new country. Like, I'm, like, going through different things, obviously. And I'm going to need to respond. I'm going to, like, need you to respond to these things differently now. And so, like, I'll tell him, like, what works for me best. Like, this is how, like, I would like you to comfort me. And then we have questions, like, and then I ask him, like, if you're going through something, like, how do you want me to just listen? Do you want me to give you, like, you have to have a lot of conversations like that. Because when you don't, and this has happened us plenty of times, there's just a lot of like clash. Yeah. So if you're doing something like this, like, really, you have to be talking about things all the time and being really honest and open. Yeah.
I think that's good advice for
in
all
general.
Yeah. I think. But I think that's really good advice. So, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me. Yeah.
Thank you. Can we is Abdul right there? Can we just get like a side-by-side?
He literally just left.
I met Abdul because he's in our other.
Abdul is in.
Oh yeah.
Episode 5.
I saw it. But
we should edit in the clip of Abdul just saying, like, "Oh, I'm glad that I brought, besides my wife, Oreos." Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Subscribe.
Will
comment
do.
Down below.
Leave a comment. Subscribe. Leave a comment with Emily. Don't leave Emily alone.
Yeah, Emily.
Oh, okay.
Emily's always commenting.
But thank you so much. Thank you, Yasmin. Thank you, everybody, for watching.
Yeah,
and
thank you.
See you next time in our mosquito nets.
Yeah.
Or coffee shop.
Yeah.
Or coffee shop. Join us.
Som Drumaglia.
Som Drumaglia. Bye.
Bye. Goodbye. Goodbye, Yasmin.